we've got a whole new Supreme Court makeup here where we've got 5 conservative-leaning judges, several of whom have a very, strict scrutiny, originalist-focused view of what the Second Amendment means. They take an expansive view of the right. And so what we believe is going to happen is the court is going to reverse this rule because otherwise they probably wouldn't have taken the case. It's the only city that has a rule like this. If they do that, they're going to have to talk about the level of scrutiny that was used by the lower courts to uphold this as constitutional. And they're going to have to talk about what is the appropriate level of scrutiny. So even if they say intermediate scrutiny is correct and they articulate what that means, that lets people like me, like my organization, go back and challenge every gun law in the state to include the pistol permitting regime, because all of those things are based on intermediate scrutiny. And if the court specifically says strict scrutiny is the appropriate standard of review, then everything falls apart. The SAFE Act is based on intermediate scrutiny. The assault weapons ban is part of the act. The high capacity magazine ban is part of the act. Those all rely on intermediate scrutiny. And if you look at all the decisions that have upheld that statute, and you just hit Control F and search for intermediate scrutiny, it's all throughout the documents as the reason for this being held constitutional. So it stands to possibly be another landmark case with respect to Second Amendment jurisprudence. And why I'm excited about it is 2AWNY.com has a case literally sitting in the Second Circuit Court of Appeals right now, one step below the Supreme Court, which is the Libertarian Party of Erie County v. Andrew Cuomo, which challenges the entire state pistol permitting regime on constitutional grounds. When we argued this in February of 2019, 2 judges on the 3-judge panel that heard our oral argument specifically talked about the NYSRPA case and the fact that they believe it's going to result in a new level of scrutiny for Second Amendment cases. And they're literally holding on judgment for our case until this NYSRPA case is decided. So the NYSRPA case could provide the lethal weapon that we require to be able to dismantle gun control all across New York State. That's why it's important.